After some time passes, Flint gets a visitor.
Dad, it's me, Klaus. I told Lucas to come too, but he's been crying at Mom's grave all this time. Dad, I'm gonna leave this apple here. The core might be hard, but the core might be too hard to eat, but be sure you eat it. I'm gonna get stronger. I'm gonna get so strong even the Dragos won't stand a chance against me. Dad,
Without even finishing his sentence, Klaus scurries away. Flint takes a bite of the peculiar apple, and, unsurprisingly, there was a hand file inside. With it, he breaks out of jail. Flint had better catch up with Klaus before he strays too far. Waiting right outside the building is Duster.
Flint, I'm not really sure what to say. What happened to Hinawa was a terrible tragedy. I can't say I know how you're feeling. Hinawa's burial ended without incident. Lucas has been crying at her grave ever since. His poor little heart seems like it's about to break in two. If there's anything I can do for you, just let me know anytime.
Tragically, because of his actions last night, Flint had to miss his own wife's burial. But this wasn't some cruel punishment, it was for his own good. He needed some time to reflect, and any more heartbreak might have broken him to a point of no return. This is the first time that we can fully explore Tazmily Village. Pretty much any time the story advances, every villager gets brand new dialogue. It's a testament to Itoi's love of writing. Duster echoes a sentiment that will be heard from all the townsfolk. Everyone's sympathetic towards Flint, and although they might not know what to say or do, they're willing to help him in any way they can. Some characters are easier than others to find, though, with some hiding in more discreet parts of town. For example, Nana is usually watching the ocean in solitude. I'm Nana. I like the ocean. She's not very sociable. Generally, each villager says the same one or two things, but they all have their own way of saying it. In this context, people are either condemning Flint for how he handled last night, or sympathetic towards what led him to act that way. Almost nobody brings up his time in jail. Paul says, "Flint, you really lost it during that wild outburst of yours. I know you had your reasons, but it's wrong to act out your aggressions on others." Interestingly, Abbott says something different.
Flint, please just forget that you hit me. I'm going to forget about it. Compared to your pain, this is nothing at all.
Ollie shares the same sentiment. These are the two people Flint did attack, yet they both forgive him. Perhaps they're more sympathetic because they saw Flint's brokenness with their own eyes. Only a handful of people actually saw the event occur. You can also check out Thomas's Bazaar, where Mike is working. If something catches your eye, you can take it, free of charge. Everyone is trusted in Tazmily, and they all work to help each other out. If you take a trip all the way east to Butch's farm, you can find some funny hidden dialogue from the pigs.
There's actually secret behind-the-scenes info about Mother 3 that only pigs know.
These pigs might be onto something, but the cows, they just like to drool.
To drool or not to drool? That is the question.
To advance the story, you have to make your way north to the cemetery.
Mr. Flint, this was such a terrible tragedy. Words failed me. I've humbly prepared a grave of the finest quality for you. Your wife's resting in it right now, but when the time comes, you'll be able to rest right beside her. It's a top-notch grave, it is.
Hinawa's grave is in a special area reserved just for her, and there's a large crowd formed before you can even see it. Not a single soul is unmoved by her death. During this part of the story, the music is appropriately sorrowful. The heart creates a melancholy atmosphere, while the flute's melody drives you through the start. I'll have more to say about the melody later. A string orchestra is included to add more sentimentality. The flute is swapped out for an oboe, a bolder instrument. The strings widen in range, building up for the next part. Then it hits. The oboe is replaced by an even bolder horn, and the strings unleash the emotional climax. flutes return to wrap everything up, and the strings make a conclusive farewell to Hinawa. Resting on a hill is Hinawa's burial site. Here, the people closest to the family are mourning her. Lisa had introduced her to Flint, and later was said to be a childhood friend of his. The attention to detail here is striking. A patch of sunflowers, Hinawa's favorite, stand tall beside her grave. Lucas hasn't left yet.
Dad, I thought you said anything could come true, as long as we prayed from the bottom of our hearts. Mom can't even punish me anymore now. I don't want it like this.
Alex says,
Oh, long time no see. It's me. I haven't been in the village for a while, but I rushed straight here after I heard about Hinawa. Just after I had such a wonderful time with my grandkids. Sorry. Say, come to think of it, where's Klaus? Is he not with you? He said he was going to see you, but then never came back. Lucas, do you know where Klaus went?
No.
Lucas! It's not good to keep secrets from people. Don't tell me Klaus went after that detestable Drago to try to...
No, he didn't take Dad's homemade knife to go to the mountains to kill the Drago.
It's a good thing you raised him to be honest, Flint. Does Klaus honestly think a homemade knife can kill a Drago? Lucas, why didn't you stop him?
Well, I said I wanted to go too, but he said no because he was going alone.
So you just let him go? You fool!
It's important to note how the children are handling the loss, too. Klaus, like his father, is responding with wrath. His object of vengeance is the Drago that killed Hinawa. Being the more hasty twin, he quickly got on his way with nothing but a flimsy knife to slay the draconic beast. Lucas, the more sensitive twin, could do nothing but cry. When his brother ran off, he never raised a hand. In fact, he even wanted to join him, but Klaus wanted to be the brave hero and do it all on his own. I think they're characterized quite well, given how little we know about them.
Maybe that was a little too harsh of me. Flint, it sounds like Klaus is headed to the mountains to kill the Drago that killed his mom. We're in a race against time, but this can't be any ordinary Drago we're dealing with here. We're gonna need proper equipment first. Get a weapon to fight the Dragos with, then hurry to my place.
Now it's up to Flint to rescue Klaus from the Drago, as Alex spelled out to us already, but to stand any chance against it, he'll need something better than a pocket knife. Fortunately, Bronson made a weapon out of the very fang from last night. It's poetic justice that its own weapon will be used against it. On the way from the graveyard to the forest, a new song plays to match the situation. The flute from the last song remains here with a pining new melody that will be heard in a few other songs too. The buzzy chords and subtle percussion suggest Flint's urgency to find Klaus. The energy level is higher, but it's far from happy. Whether Flint's ready or not, he's going on yet another rescue expedition. At the end of the song, it turns into something completely different. The tempo slows down and the sentimental strings are brought back. Just because Flint isn't at the burial site anymore doesn't mean he's still not thinking about Hinawa. In a mad rush, Flint bolts through the Sunshine Forest and runs up the mountain to Alex's cabin. He defends against animals, both wild and reconstructed, along the way. He goes the same route as last night, undoubtedly bringing back painful memories. When he meets him, Alec remarks how much more difficult the trek to and from Tazmily is now, with flying mice roaming about. He says his froggy intelligence informed him that Klaus is at a friend's house.
When I said froggy intelligence just now, you thought, what, didn't you? Frogs work for my friends, as messengers. My friend is able to talk to frogs, lizards, and what have you. See that lizard over there, for instance? We just need to go in the direction it tells us.
Somehow, Alec knows someone who can talk to animals, and those animals are able to communicate with Alec.
Flint. You have doubts about this friend of mine, don't you? My friend, no, friends, are known as Magypsies. They've lived isolated away from civilization for a very, very long time.
As Flint follows the conveniently arrow-shaped lizards, Alec describes the Magypsies in more detail.
The Magypsies have mysterious powers and have been protecting something here for a very long time. They're neither human nor beast, neither man nor woman. I have absolutely no idea how old they are. That explanation didn't explain much, did it? Basically, they're strange. All of them. Each and every one of them. That's just how they are. They are good-natured, though.
What could the Magypsies look like? After hopping over a bridge of frogs, we come across a pristine lake with a shell-shaped house in the center. It resembles the homes of the dreamlike realm of Magican from the other two Earthbound games. Flint opens the door and... whatever you were expecting, I bet it wasn't this, huh? The Magypsies are said to be neither human nor beast, but it's pretty clear what they're closer to. In the same interview I mentioned before, eToy said that they're here to represent people who aren't usually represented in stories. It's the same reason why he wrote Duster to have a handicapped leg. They offer a different philosophy, something eToy likes to do in his games. As a Christian, I can't say I agree with the Magypsies, but I also won't ignore that they are, indeed, good-natured, as we'll see later in the story. There are 7 Magypsies in total, each named by Shogo Sakai after the 7 musical modes. Their names are Ionia, Aeolia, Doria, Phrygia, Lydia, and Mixolydia. The 7th one, Locria, isn't present. Fittingly, the Locrian mode is the least used mode in music because of its dissonant nature. On the topic of music, the theme of the Magypsies is intriguing. The elegant strings, funky beat, and tenor saxophone create quite the mixture of a song. Alec asks Aeolia where Klaus went. Before giving an answer, he gets distracted, noticing the similarities between Klaus and his dad. Alec gets him back on track, and he simply says Klaus left in a hurry, wanting to avenge his mother. While he was there, Aeolia granted him a strong PSI technique, something that the Magypsies are able to do. Alec gets frustrated that nobody thought to stop Klaus again, to which the other Magypsies respond with indifference. With the ability to live for thousands of years, they don't see much of a point in a human lifespan. Alec, again, realigns the conversation to where Klaus specifically went. Aeolia finally reveals that he hurried over to Drago Plateau, not too concerned for his own life either. With that information, Flint and Alex start their journey to Drago Plateau.